Yeah, y'all see me fly with the new background. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Hey, somebody play me my theme music. Mm-mm. We'll give it a sec to let everybody come in and join the room. All right, do me a favor though, while you are here, make sure that you're liking so we can get that YouTube algorithm jumping. How was everybody's weekend? Y'all see what I did? I threw the little joints up on the wall. Great weekend, great opportunity to attack the day, to attack Monday. Doug's already in the building. Doug, which one is that? My brain is fried. The kindness video, that's the one that you were supposed to send me? Or that's the one that you did send me? Do me a favor, can you put the link in the chat? That'll be helpful. Feel free to share with a friend. You know, we always share the link with a friend, I should say. We always love it when the conversation grows. It's better that way. But I had an epiphany over the weekend. You ever just start to think like, yo, I've been disrespected, and it's to the point now where it's like, dang, I'm not even gonna say anything, and it just keeps eating at you until you do say something. So we will definitely. I appreciate that, Doug. I'll we'll definitely share that at the end. I think that'll be good to wrap everything up. We're always looking for kindness. Oh yeah, as you can see, got the I Am hoodies popping. We'll have those very shortly. We'll probably release them this week. We shall probably release them this week. Doug wrote, how was the opera? So I went to the Malcolm X opera over the weekend. I guess it's at the Met, right? That's at Lincoln Center. I think that's the Met where they do the operas. But yeah, matter of fact, let me check. Now I want to see exactly where it was. Malcolm X opera. I think I know it was at Lincoln Center. Yeah, it was at the Met. How was the opera? The opera was a little dark and ominous, but it was cool. A lot of talent over there. A lot of talent, but it was interesting. I'll actually talk a little bit about that as well. Let's let everybody get in the room. Matter of fact, I'm about to grab a little tissue. But what I need y'all to do is not listen to that. What I need y'all to do is listen to this for a sec. You feel me? Let me get a tissue real quick. See a nice little thing, we pursue her. See a nice little, yeah. I'm moving with a purpose, bigger than a service. You can never, even if you rehearse this, we own it. Yeah, hurts it. Big difference, that's worth less, yes. All we do is impress. Put the work in, never mind all the stress. And you don't mind tests when you better than the rest. OG 101, it was all in the prep. Yeah, with some legends in the game. If you're scared to embrace it, then how you gonna change? Yeah. All right, what we got today? What do we have today? big fish. We the ones that you wanna get with. Took a couple L's, rung a couple bells. Real ones, too legit for Cointel. What do we got today? All right, we got a little bit of this, little that, and we'll talk about the whole concept of I am and we are. But we got a lot. We're going to talk about what I was referring to as far as why I felt so disrespected over the weekend. Is it better to rent or buy where you live? We got one of the presidential candidates that dropped out the race. We got some Oregon students that no longer have to worry about being proficient in reading, writing, and math. The importance of working out consistently. Where real confidence comes from. Got a couple little funny videos, and we're going to talk about how perceptions of how we're portrayed in the media. What else we got? We got a little bit from one of my favorite movies, The Great Debaters. I'm not sure if you all are familiar, but if you are not, then you should. That's one of the greatest movies Denzel has done. Hold on, let me get this right. 1 second, good people. I hate when the wire's out like that. I hate it. How about them Giants? It's Tafari in the building. How about them Giants? Oh, man. I heard it was another rough one. Another rough one. I didn't get to see it, but I heard it was another rough one. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Big Bro is in the building. I didn't even see Big Bro. Hey, Tab, I swear I didn't see you before I wrote that. But I know it's rough, man. That's wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I apologize. That was wrong. That was a low blow. Talking about the Giants. But I just saw somebody post. I saw some of these Cowboys fans. I don't get how so many Cowboys fans live in Jersey. I feel like Cowboys fans must live everywhere. I don't know, but the Cowboys, I saw them talking crazy over the weekend, so I assumed it was not good for the Giants. So it is what it is. Sports. The great thing about watching sports over the weekend is that none of it should impact our actual lives. So regardless of whether your team won or your team lost, it doesn't really matter. Unless you bet on the game, which I hope y'all ain't out here betting on games. And it doesn't really matter. It just is what it is. It's just entertainment. And yeah, that's where we keep it. So let's get into the show. Of course, we're going to start with positive words from Big Bro. So we'll set that up right now. See what Ace is talking about and see if he can give us a positive message for today. All right, let's get to it. Oh, now we got to switch that up. All right, there we go. Ace, talk to us.
I'm shouting out. Positive message for today. If there's a will, there's a way. I'm going to say that one more time. If there's a will, there is a way. Monday motivation. Let's take it and run with it. Peace.
If there's a will, there's a way. If there's a will, there's a way. I am. We are. If there's a will, there's a way. What makes y'all decide whether or not y'all can do something? What makes y'all decide whether or not y'all could do something? And this is kind of stemming from a conversation that I had over the weekend with two of the bros. So I was talking to Bez. Hopefully Bez gets on here today. I was talking to Bez, and I told him my goal. And this is the second time. Y'all heard Bez hating on when I said I'm getting more flexible. I'm going to be able to do a split by my birthday. It's important to be flexible. It is what it is. Y'all say all the weirdo stuff y'all want, but it's important for me. That's a goal of mine. Bez said on the show, I ain't going to be able to do it. I bet. But then over the weekend, maybe it started on Friday, this conversation that I was having in the group chat. And I think Bez just asked me, he said, why do you want to change the world?
He said, "Why do you want to change the world?" And I forget what my exact response was, but I think it was something along the lines of the world needs healing. Straightforward. Why do I want to change the world? Because the world needs healing. And remember, shout out to Queez. We said that we'll change that word, go from change and more so focus on evolve. You know, when we're trying to maybe get people to see things in a different perspective, if we're when we're trying to grow ourselves, maybe it's an easier conversation with ourselves to say, hey, I want to evolve. I want to take this to the next progression, the next step, rather than say I have to change. All right. So going back to this conversation all reminded me of, the shirt. Like I said, hoodies will be available this week. But it took me back to a conversation, where somebody asked me what I am is. And I am is you taking control of the godly power that we've been given, whatever you want to call it. The ability to create, the ability to mold, the ability to change something, to evolve something, the ability to become whatever it is that we're willing to sacrifice for. That's what I am is. That's what we are is. So during this conversation, Bez was saying that he said that I don't think he doesn't think that he could change the world. And I said, damn, that's a shame. I said, I've never looked at stuff like that. But I'm also in a space where I'm not forcing other people to embrace how I look at life. So if you don't feel like you could change the world, oh, damn, that's a shame. I see a little bit more potential in you than maybe you see in yourself. And then when we're talking about me being able to change the world, he said that he didn't think that I could change the world. He said he didn't think that it was realistic. So this conversation all centered back to I am. And for me, it's a little, I don't know. I told y'all I had a different type of upbringing to where as I was growing up, I really feel like my upbringing was just catered to me to be able to not even think or feel, but to know that I can do anything. That was just my natural upbringing. My brother to this day calls me every day and tells me I'm the best person on earth. Like literally, that's what, and I don't look at it from a standpoint of like, oh yeah, I made it. Nah, I just look at it like, oh, I got to live up to that. Like people that I care about, people that care about me, if you hold me in a certain regard, I got to make sure I live up to that, because that's how you inspire, that's how you lead others when you take on that position. So I never had this thought in my head to where I could question doing anything. I just feel like it's whether or not I'll have time throughout the day, to make a certain level of commitment. I'm not worried about the sacrifice, not worried about the discipline. It's more so I'm always in a battle of time. So what do we do with and this conversation kind of went on that I was having with Bez, but I'm not sure if y'all run into people where you say like, yo, I'm going to do something, and their response, you allow their response to maybe question or determine how you look at yourself and how you look at you reaching a particular goal. It shouldn't do anything but provide you fuel. It shouldn't do anything but provide you fuel. I'm not saying that it should get you angry or upset. I wasn't angry or upset. I understand. I understand that a lot of times people will put their own prejudgments about their individual shortcomings or where they think they would fall short. So they like to put that on others or to put that on themselves in order to excuse not necessarily going hard in a particular area. You ever had somebody say like, well, it doesn't matter, we're going to lose anyway? That's kind of an excuse and an out to just not play to win. You know what I mean? Like where you have a crutch that now you could fall on. Well, we weren't going to win anyway, so I wasn't even playing for it. Y'all know those type of people. So, and I don't actually think that Bez is this person. I'm just using this for this conversation, and Bez knows how to motivate me as well and inspire me. So half the time I think that he's just playing around. But it's important for us to be the only people that ultimately decide what we will do with our lives and what we won't do with our lives. We control our own destiny. We can manifest everything. Everything is here already. So therefore, we just need to put the things in motion, lock in, sacrifice, be disciplined, be focused in whatever area of life that is, and then just press play. Just press play. And that confidence goes a long way in determining whether or not we are likely to attain our particular goal. And how do we build the confidence? Y'all got to tune into OG 101. We talk about this in OG 101, but it's those little steps. It's keep putting one good day, put those good days, keep stacking those good days. I remember my coaches used to always say that. Keep stacking those good days. And once you keep stacking those good days, you're going to realize when you look back or look down or whatever it may be, that it's like, hold up. I did all that. Like we already got there just by staying focused, staying consistent. All of that happened. Now that's going to give me even more confidence to do even bigger and better things. So that's kind of how I see it. That's what I am is all about. It's like, yo, you could literally, you will be whatever it is that you want to become. You will be, it's taking total accountability. It's looking at your life right now and saying whether my life is amazing or whether my life sucks, however I see it on that spectrum, it's because of me. And not only is it because of me, but moving forward, whatever happens to me in the future is because of me. That's full accountability. All we have to do is decide where we want to go, what we want to do, who we want to become on our way there. That's it. That's it. All of these things are very simple. It's very simple to become successful. It's very simple to do amazing things. You just have to do the things that may not be easy. There's a difference between simple and easy. Simple is, okay, I'm going to do the behavior. Very simple behavior. But why it's not easy is because, I got to do it every day. I got to constantly evolve from it. I got to constantly grow from it. So these are all the things in my head that play out when I'm making a decision of whether or not I want to do something. So that's what I am is all about. I am is all about becoming whatever it is that we're willing to sacrifice for, and believing that there is no ceiling. It's endless. It's whatever we decide it is. It's as big as we decide it will be, and it's as small as we decide it will be. So that was just kind of a little bit of a backdrop to the I am, we are. And then let me get into this. All right, so let me get into what I was telling y'all about as far as before we kind of review a couple of videos, why I was feeling disrespected over the weekend. I was sitting here, and y'all know how I've avoided a lot of the talks on what's happening between Palestine and Israel. And obviously it was intentional. For one, I don't really know as much about it. I'll be totally honest. I don't know as much about it. And it's one of those toxic things where I feel that, people just giving their input is not going to it's not going to put us in a more positive place at this point where we are. Excuse me. However, as far as, whether or not you're siding with Israel or you side with Palestine, that was irrelevant to what I was thinking about over the weekend. And I was more so just sitting back, even going back to those Republican debates and how you can hear people so clearly take a side. And people that can clearly take a side in the Republican debate, it was taking Israel's side. That's not the issue. That's not what we're going to discuss. However, what we will discuss is the fact that you can have Americans, knowing what America has done, knowing how America, this land was occupied. We have Americans that are standing up here screaming to protect certain people's claim to a land that they either currently inherit or inherited thousands of years ago, whatever it may be. You have Americans that are up here screaming about supporting a group whether you support one side or another when it comes to their land, while indigenous people in America just sit here knowing what happened to us, knowing what we allowed. First and foremost, I don't play the victim stuff. I don't do that. We lost. We got destroyed. We lost the war. We either gave it up or got either way, we lost. But for me, it says a lot about how people think about you when you can sit there. It's almost like an example in school where they tell somebody, let's say for one kid, hey, you can have candy. That's your candy. So therefore, you should be able to have your candy. But then another kid in school is just sitting there and they're like, yo, you ain't saying nothing when they took my candy. Matter of fact, you took my candy to give out to everybody else. But when that person had candy, you said it was important for nobody else, that's their candy. But you took my candy. And something as simple as that, to where I'm sitting here as a black person, and we said we got to change that term as an indigenous person. And I know that all of us like to think that all of us, all black skinned people in America came from Africa. It's just not true. It's just not true. The transatlantic slave trade, how it was told to us, was a lie. First off, they started off the trade. You got to really look into a lot of this stuff. And I don't speak on this stuff too much just because I'm really not in the history. I used to be, more into the history before. But if you look at the transatlantic slave trade, how it started, a lot of people believe that, first off, they were bringing people from here to Europe. And even regardless of it, all of us did not come here. There were people here. And they tried to make it seem as if in all these movies and everything else of what a quote unquote Native American or what they used to call Indians used to look like. And it's just not true. It's just not true. If I showed you a picture of my mother, if I showed you a picture of my grandmother, those are the grandmothers. Those are what Native Americans look like. Those are what indigenous people look like. But what did Americans need to do? Americans needed to convince slaves, because they knew that there was going to be an end game to all this. Americans needed to convince slaves that this was not their land. All of us did not come here. We had been coming back and forth between the Americas for long before Christopher Columbus supposedly discovered the Americas. We were already here. There's a reason why people that look like me kept getting reclassified. You got reclassified from black to Indian to Native American to Cherokee. Like, it was all these different classifications that they tried to put us in. But if we were here and this is our land, isn't that just a huge slap in the face for America to be jumping out the window supporting other people and their claim to their land, while America has Americans, I'm an American, that are living in this country, and the land that my ancestors were living on was stolen, was won, however you want to look at it. I'm not playing victim. You stole it. You came in and you took my shit. You took my shit. I shouldn't have allowed you to take my shit. And let me be very clear also, I'm not talking about reparations here. I'm not talking about reparations. I don't get into the reparation conversation anymore. It feels too weak to me. However, I would love to have a conversation regarding this land. There needs to be something done, I would think, right? Because how can it be so important? And think about how small, like going back to the school example. Is that not what getting punked is? Is that not what, like, the definition of getting punked is? I'm gonna do something to you. I'm gonna violate you. But then I'm gonna stand up for this other person who got violated. Maybe not even as bad as I just violated you. So I'm acknowledging that the violation is wrong, but I'm just condoning it when I do it to you. Matter of fact, I'm so confident and think so less of you that I'm not even worried about you responding or having even doing anything. I took your shit, and now I'm going to stand up for these other people, regardless of whose side you're on, and make sure that nobody can take their shit. How did we get to this point? And I don't blame white people. I really just look at myself and I'm like, damn, is my team really that big of a group of losers to condone stuff like this? And I told y'all, like, and if you saw my post over the weekend, you may have understood a little bit. You may understand a little bit more what I'm saying, but I'm just offended. I'm just offended that somebody could think that that little of me to not even address it. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing if somebody addressed it and say, yo, I know I was wrong, for this, boom, boom, boom. We gonna stand up and, like this is right. I shouldn't have done it this way. Did it? But there has to be some type of, and like I told y'all, this is not reparations. This is just an understanding, like, oh, this is our land. Yeah, we're gonna need that. We're gonna need some of that back, or we got to figure this out. We not gonna, war, I wouldn't say is the right, is the favorable solution. But how can we not sit here and say, like, yo, yeah, I need some of my shit back, at least some of mine? I mean, like, and you still getting punked by even saying some, but I mean, it is what it is at this point, right? And let me make sure I'm keeping up. So Tafari wrote, I think you forget we are the land of hypocrisy. It's the same as when white people tell other people to get out of here, but then claim they're Irish or German or some other shit. Nah, big bro, I'm not forgetting. I'm not forgetting. I'm just a little disgusted and disappointed in us for continuing to sit back and allow it. And you don't even see people actually bringing that up. It's like, not only do we sit back and look at it, it's like, yo, wait, what yo, y'all do realize that y'all took our shit, and this is not that long ago. This is not that long ago. Slavery ended what, a little over 150 years ago? People came here, what, 300, 400, 500 years ago? That's not a long time. And the older I get, I realize, like, yo, like when I was younger, I used to think slavery was so long. I'm like, yo, that's when the dinosaurs were here. But now I realize, like, yo, that's just a little, like, that ain't, I've already been, shoot, I've been out of high school for 20 years. Like, that's not really that long. And I think when we realize how close we are to it, I don't know, maybe it doesn't bother us. And going back to Tafari's point, of course it's hypocrisy, but I'm just more so sitting back thinking, like, damn, like that must be how little people think of us. And I don't know if y'all do this, but I think about what other cultures throughout the world think about Black people. And Blacks in America, are we the only people that don't know where we're from? That do not have a home that we're connected to? Are we the only people? I sit back and think of what other group of people does not have some homeland that they're connected to. We have nothing. And I just wonder what other cultures think about that. They must like just look at us and be like, like it's almost like that just can't get right. Where they're looking at us, not even in, I think a lot of times people think that we're looked at in a hate way. I'll be honest, yo, I don't even think that there's enough respect for it to be hate. I don't think that people respect us enough to even hate us. You know how that you have to have an opponent to where most of the opponents that you hate, the rivals that you have, sports or anything else, maybe on the job, somebody you're competing with, there's a certain level of respect that you have to have for them to even qualify into that space of you hating them. And I'm looking like us. I'm like, yeah, we don't even qualify. We're not even a worthy enough competitor to be hated. We're not a worthy enough threat, whatever you want to call it. You would think that there would be some concern by America in throwing their support wholeheartedly at one side or another. Like I said, as far as this conversation, who you support is irrelevant. It's the fact that you're either whether you're supporting one group or another, you're still supporting a certain particular group. You're celebrating them being, or you're fighting for them being entitled. You believe that they're entitled to a certain land because they occupied it. And for certain people, I know when Israel came about in the 40s, the end of the 40s, I believe it was based on land, and this is why I don't like speaking on it, because I'm not really sure of the exact statistics and facts around it, but I do know that a lot of the land's claim is based on, or it started, I'd say, thousands of years ago, based on the occupation. So if we're going to jump out the window as America and support a group and say that they're entitled to something because of being there 1,000 years ago, and like I said, it doesn't matter which side you support. I'm just looking at us like, damn, I would be scared to say, like, well, if we say this, you may get some of those black people they may uprise because, like we kind of slapping them in the face by saying, this group is entitled to this land because of them occupying it thousands of years ago when black people were here 100 years, just a couple hundred years ago, and we took their shit. I'm just wondering, like, and clearly this is a topic that I didn't necessarily expect as much feedback as a lot of the other stuff that we discussed, which is why I kind of anticipated the chat being a little bit low, because nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody wants to give their opinion. And we've become so soft that people feel comfortable just ignoring it and just saying, like, yo, I don't got to address that aspect of it. How could any American, regardless of whether you're black or white or whatever else, how could you not look at this and be like, damn, America's sitting up there going hard for these people? What about what America took? Damn, that's kind of messed up to them black folk. Like, nobody says anything, nobody speaks on it, and it's because we don't speak on it. It's because we're so scared to say what we're entitled to, or we're so scared to say, like, nah, this ain't adding up. The math ain't mathing. The history ain't history, and whatever you want to call it. It's weird to me. And I know, and Big Bro wrote, I do. And that's why I always say that Tafari's necessary. Tafari's necessary because why? A lot of times we have our conversations are based on, what a man is, what's a beta, what's an alpha, what's Sigma man, all these different things, high value. We need to sit back and think about what type of men are the ones that are willing to speak on certain topics as it pertains to us. I'm not saying you got to go out and jump and speak about everybody else's situation. I'm saying the opposite. And it's very weird to me when I see like a black person like Tim Scott or even Vivek. When I told y'all that I was disgusted in the debate, this is part of the reason. You got a black guy and an Indian guy. Well, let's just, Tim Scott. But like I said, it's all of them. But especially a black person going up there and supporting one particular group while you're running for president of the United States of America, But you don't even think like how crazy that sounds. We're going to support this group getting their whatever it is. Meanwhile, we are living, walking around, smiling and shit on the land that was taken from our ancestors. And even if you believe in the Atlantic slave trade exactly how they taught it, let me be very clear. I'm speaking for me right now. I'm speaking for me. My family's a mixture of a little bit of everything. My family is the indigenous people that you talk about. They're in the Ramapo Mountains, just in Jersey. I can actually trace back the quote unquote Native American heritage. Like mom, if you're on here, then take a picture of your card. You have your membership and send it to me, and maybe we'll put it up here. So even if I'm looking at it from a whatever y'all want to call it, you could say, oh, black is different than Native American, different than indigenous, different than Indian. I'm talking about me. My family is made up of all of those individuals. So however you slice it, this is my shit. This is my land. This is my land. And I kind of feel like a coward just moving around it, knowing that somebody took it, knowing that they want it from me, however you want to look at it, just from a competitive standpoint. I have a problem with somebody telling me that they won something from me in a way where they're saying that way of that they want it from me is unfair, and they need to fight for that other group of people, regardless of which side you're on, because they want it in an unfair way, or their land was taken in an unfair way, and we can't have that. But then it was done to me. So if I was not black, I would be looking at black people like, damn, they some suckers. I would be looking at the indigenous Americans like, yo, y'all are some suckers. Like, y'all just allowing that? Like, I don't know whether to like sit back and respect the hell out of people. Like I said, I don't care what side you're on in the Israel-Palestinian conversation. But to see people fighting for their land, the land that they believe is theirs, and for us to kind of just sit back here and we just took the greatest L, like, and just, there was no fight afterwards. There was no nothing. We just kind of accepted it and then just asked, hey, can we just be a part of your society? That's all we want. It's weird to me. And this takes us back to the conversation of Noah's kids, when how they said that, I got to look back at the Torah. I was reading my Torah for a while. But when they were speaking about Noah's sons and the darker ones being more easygoing, like almost nicer. I forget the exact term that they use in the Torah and the Bible. But they were saying that the dark-skinned people, his dark-skinned sons, they went to a land and those people were more like just nicer. That's what he said. Like, and nice, not in a nice way, but nice in a like, oh, they get taken advantage of. Like, you know, you could take advantage of them. And I'm looking back and I'm like, yo, this shit is kind of playing out. Like, we are fulfilling that prophecy. So it's just, I don't know what to say about it. And hold on, let me see what Tafari wrote. Tafari wrote, we can find proof of shit that went down 20,000 years ago, but have no proof of 500. Come on, man. That's what I always say about these slave ships. They can find dinosaur bones. Literally. They can find stuff from the pyramid, literally thousands of years ago, but you can't find a slave ship. The way that they made it seem, do y'all know how many black people are in America right now? Indigenous, whatever you want to call it. You think all of that just came from generations of slaves? It just doesn't even make sense to me. So think about this. Think about this. Think about how many black people are in America right now. A lot, right? Then think about how many native, quote unquote, the kind of Angolan inspired Mexican looking Native Americans that they portray as the Native Americans. Think about how many of them you see walking around or just occupying America. It's not a lot. So you telling me that they just destroyed all? I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And I know how history was taught, but the same way that Rockefeller, the same way that John D. Rockefeller, when we talked about him creating the schools, and he said that he was creating schools to provide trained and obedient workers to fuel America's expanding industrial economy. Nobody does people do what's in their best interest. They will create a story. Do you think that somebody is more willing to tell you your real history if that means that you will get upset with them, possibly uprise, or they'll just make something up and you'll just be a sweet, docile supporter of theirs? Which do you think they're going to tell you a story of? Which do you think they would tell? I don't blame them. I can't blame them. I can't blame them. I don't like it, but I can't blame them. I just blame us. I'm like, damn, we just allowed this shit? Like, yo, how? We got the most athletic people out here, and you telling me we just laid down? Like, damn. It doesn't make sense to me. Safari wrote, and I'm not mad about the slavery thing either, because if it was the other way around, I'd be like, the hands up, LOL. I'm more mad I'm on the losing side. I'm just mad that we lost. Yo, I'm just mad that how we took this loss. Let's be real. Slavery, a lot of people were enslaved. Throughout the world, people were enslaved. And it wasn't that long ago to where it was outlawed. Let's just be real. Throughout the Americas, Brazil, I think they were like almost 1890 when they outlawed it. That's not that long ago. So when you think about where people's moral compass was just 100, 150 years ago, I mean, and this is another conversation that I had with all these, with even, like I said, it doesn't matter what side that you're supporting, because a lot of this, I'm looking at it like, you know, a lot of black people that I know are Muslim, and I'm like, you know what the Arab slave trade, like where the quote unquote Atlantic slave trade came from, and what they designed it based on was the Arab slave trade, which was twice as long, more vicious, more brutal than what was done in America, where Arabs came through Africa wrecking shit, forcing people to convert, and building the Arab slave trade. And I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, yo, black people just like, are we the team in the league? Are we the laughing stock of the league? And don't even realize it? We're the LA Clippers. Remember when the LA Clippers had like Darius Miles, Lamar Odom, what was it? Q. I forget his name, when they was doing all this stuff and they were celebrating, having a good time playing, laughing and joking. And it looked so entertaining, but they did not win anything. And I don't even know if they won it. It just doesn't seem like they won anything. Like, is that what black people are? Is that what we've become? And let me be very clear. We have nobody to blame but ourselves. Matter of fact, if you're white and you're listening to this, or if you're anything outside of what we term black in America, I'm going to ask you to be real with your friends. You don't owe it to anybody. Well, if you call them your friend, maybe you do owe it to them. That's on you. I'm not pushing people to tell them what they owe or what they should do, whatever. But it would be amazing if you could tell your friends, like, yo, the same way you would tell your friend who was BSing about a particular goal or who was doing some soft stuff and not standing on business, not standing 10 toes down, not being solid, all these different things. Maybe tell them, like, yo, y'all are victims. Y'all are weak. This is why nobody respects y'all, because of A, B, and C, because of what y'all have allowed in the past. My people would never allow that. I don't care if we lose every war. Like, we're not allowing that. Like, are we the most easily conquered people ever? Are we the most easily conquered people ever? And it's wild. Like I told y'all, I can't even say they. We have allowed ourselves, we don't know any history about ourselves. I don't even know my great grandparents' names. I'm being straight up. If you were to ask me right now, if somebody gave me a test, a piece of paper, and was going to give me $1 million, if somebody was going to give me $1 billion right now to name my great grandparents, I'm just sitting here thinking about it. I'm just being transparent with y'all. I don't know their name. It is embarrassing. We have become the laughing stock of the world and don't even realize it. And I'm just sitting here over the weekend and I'm just like, yo, this is wild. Like it just kind of hit me. I'm like, yo, like how, what? Like this whole thing just doesn't make sense. And what's wild is people will press you to have an opinion on it. As if all your shit wasn't taken. People will press you to have an opinion on their stuff being taken, quote unquote taken, or their stuff being trying to take it back. Like I said, it doesn't matter what side you're on. People on both sides want you to have an opinion and want you to support them. And I'm over here like, like ain't nobody really like, if you think that y'all should go hard, I wonder how you look at me. And I don't blame them. I don't blame another culture for not telling me, yo, y'all look like, oh, I don't even want to say it. Y'all look like some suckers. I don't blame the other culture for telling. I really think that other groups of people have become so, like, they just naturally really think less of us. This is where all those social programs and all that other stuff, like the people that we think are our friends, the Democrats, all that stuff, they really just think less of us to the point where they have to believe that we can't protect ourselves, care for ourselves, lead ourselves. We've just been cowards. And then there's so many different ways to go off of this, because if I was a woman, hold on. If I was a woman, a Black woman, I couldn't help but just look at Black men like now I see where maybe a lot of this resentment comes from. Because if I'm resentful, just if it was tough for me just over the weekend thinking about this stuff, really imagine how Black women are looking at Black men. I don't care how much we could talk all that king and God talk, all that other stuff. But when the talk isn't aligning with the actual results and action, you ain't really saying much. If I was a Black woman looking at Black men, think about being a Black woman at any time in America in the last 500 years. How could you not look at Black men with anything but disgust? But like, y'all some cowards. Y'all can't lead me. I don't trust y'all to lead. You just let people take our shit and didn't even, Didn't even do nothing. You didn't even try. Now you're just living here smiling like everything's all good, happy with welfare and all these other social programs, when other people out here risking their lives to get something that they feel that they are entitled to based on occupying it now or occupying it thousands of years ago. Let me get to these. Ant wrote word. Sorry, I'm not keeping up. My bad. Let me do a little better job keeping up with the chat. Queez wrote, peaceful people didn't believe in war, didn't believe land was for sale and not for everyone. I don't believe that. Like, what do we think of when we think of a peaceful person? Like, when I think in my head, like, I'm to the point, a peaceful person is the most violent person on earth. Because how do you become peaceful? Like, being peaceful is totally different than being weak. A lot of times people, quote unquote, peaceful people use being peaceful as an excuse to be weak. The only way to be peaceful, the only way to ensure that you can have peace is to have the capability of the greatest amount of violence. This is the jungle, right? Who do we think's life is more peaceful? The lion? Like which type of peace you would want? The lion or the gazelle? Peace is something that is a reward. Is a reward of being extremely capable of violence, but also responsible enough to use it in the right way. To not be drawn into certain problems from an emotional standpoint, but to see things logically. Yeah, and Queez wrote it right here. The peaceful and ignorant are easily conquered. Peaceful people, like we shout that. Why are we always asking for the, isn't it funny how the losers are the most peaceful people? And that the winners will convince the losers, like, just be peaceful. Peace is the way to go. When the whole time you were extra violent taking my shit. Tafari wrote, it should have hit you the moment our people started singing Sexy Red songs. You want to know what's funny about you bringing up Sexy Red? So in this conversation that I was having with my bro Bez and my bro Khalil, I brought up the fact, I'm like, why would I not think that I can change the world if Sexy Red is changing the world? She's impacting the world. Like, what? Like, why would I not feel that I can impact the world? Like, why would I not feel that? Literally, like, I don't. It's what I don't know. That's going back to the other conversation. Let's stay here. Tafari wrote, the king and queen shit always got on my nerves. You don't own shit and don't run shit. So how you a damn queen or whatever? It is something to think about. It is definitely something to think about. But I just can't. I just can't get with it. And I'm gonna press. How about if you think that you're a righteous non-black person, and if you just want to do something righteous, if you're just in the mood to do something amazing today, keep it real with some of your black friends. Keep it real with them. Say like, go up to them. This is what you do. Go up to your black friends. I know what y'all are thinking, because I'm thinking the same thing. And I'm not going to say I just realized that y'all were thinking about it, but I just got reminded. You know what I mean? It's like every once in a while, you gotta like, hold up. You always got to take stock on, you always got to pay attention to how people are viewing you. So therefore, if you're white watching this, go up to your friends and tell them. You know, if you consider somebody a family, you're one of your bros, right? Go up to them and say, especially a guy, and say like, "Yo, what's up with you?" Say, you know what? I've been holding this in for a while. Y'all been using this victim card for a while, but y'all just some suckers. I'm gonna be real with you. This is why people take advantage of y'all, because y'all some suckers. Y'all got no culture. The culture that y'all do have and hang on to is destructive culture. Y'all always blaming us for something. In actuality, like, bro, it's really just y'all. Y'all make it easy for people to take advantage of y'all. Everybody takes advantage of y'all. It ain't just us. Like, have that convo with them. Have that convo with them. Be real and say, like, yo, this is why none of our cultures respect y'all. This is why y'all don't get respected. This is why y'all are the laughing stock of the world. Look at what y'all do to each other. Y'all will literally be on Call of Duty in real life when it comes to your family members that live down the street or on the next block from you. But then when somebody else violates y'all scared to death of white folk. Y'all will be tough as hell to everybody else, but as soon as George Zimmerman is talking shit and signing Skittle bags, making a mockery of what he did with Trayvon, ain't nobody tough then. Where's all the gangbangers then? And don't say it's, oh, I ain't gonna do that. That's tricky. I ain't gonna get tricked out my spot. We get tricked out of our spot every day when we're killing each other for no reason. For bad weed, for bad drugs, for other goofy stuff. It's to the point where it ain't even about that. Now it's just over bad rap. Hold on, Queez wrote, I believe Europeans had to be violent and conquer, and conquers due to not having land or resources to survive. They became colonizers. Yeah. They didn't like where they was at, so they said, yo, this mountain life ain't it. We need something a little warmer. Shoot, we need to be able to grow some. Oh, they're growing stuff over there. They ain't got to kill animals and stuff. We ain't got fridges. Yeah, let's go take that shit. Queez wrote, indigenous people and some Africans didn't fight over land and resources. Facts. And Queez, I'm glad that you're bringing up these points, because these are the battles, the internal battles that I have within my head. These are the internal battles. These are the internal battles. Because I know that tribalism only leads to destruction. Us embracing tribalism is only going to lead to destruction. It just is what it is. As soon as you categorize something, as soon as you align with something, and you can justify doing things for that tribe and excusing your standards, morals, and principles and integrity, it's only going to lead to destruction. It's almost like we're just in a battle to see how long we can keep this world, going before too much competition ends up destroying it. Too much tribalism, I should say, ends up destroying it. And it goes back to that. Like, I really have this thought in my head to where this is a cycle. It's a cycle where in the world, the people that occupy it, the creatures that occupy it, the species that occupy it, will occupy it as long enough as they can live within some structure and harmony. But as technology grows and competition and tribalism is always there, eventually it's going to get to a point where the technology, when it comes to weapons, is going to be so great that there's going to be a reset. So regardless of whether it's a flood like Noah's Ark, or it's just us pressing a button, at a certain point, there's going to be a reset. Then we'll start with a new species and stuff like that. Like, that has just become very clear to me. I mean, would anybody be surprised if the world as we know it had a reset because people's egos got hurt and people started pressing buttons? If you look at the TV shows, this is what they're preparing us for. I watch Billions. I don't know if y'all watch Billions, but the last Billions episode that I watched, and I'm like a couple episodes behind, but Mike Prince, he's running for president, and one of his things was, I would press a button to destroy a country. I'm not going to wait around and give them the opportunity to maybe, perhaps, press a button on us first. I'll press the button, whether that means the destruction of the world and whether that follows, whatever. I'm pressing the button and then we'll move forward accordingly. I'm like, yo, they really preparing us for this. So Tafari wrote, bro, outside people can't say that because we are too victim-minded to accept it. I can't even have this convo with other blacks without the victim outburst. You're right. You're right. But if you, I want to ask you, I'm putting a little pressure on non-blacks. If you're a good person, if you consider yourself a good person and you really have some black people that you love, you consider as friends, you consider as family, I'm asking you, keep it real with them. They're not going to like the response. They may start to speak on you how they used to speak on Trump. You're a racist, you're this and that. You're insensitive. You're just leaning into your white privilege. They may say all that. So what? Are they your friends or not? Do you love them? Because you say you love them. Do you care about them? Because you say you care about them. And sometimes when we care about people, you got to tell them the truth rather than what's going to make them feel good, or not tell them something that you think is going to make them feel upset. But now you questioning right now. Damn, do I want to say it? Well, they're not really I don't love that. Well, I don't need to be the person that says it directly to them. Maybe somebody else to tell them. Nah. Is that your man's? Is that your homegirl? Is that your people? And these are some of the things that I realized even with this entire situation between Israel and Palestine. Is it really your people? If you can't have a conversation with them, and is it really your family? Do y'all really got love for each other? Or is it just out of convenience? Is it just out of convenience? And if it's just out of convenience, then that's cool. It is what it is. I guess as long as both people know. But if you can't have a conversation with somebody to where you're delivering information that they may get offended by, but you believe that they need to hear it and it's the truth, and that the truth shall set us free, then you got to speak on that. It's your, matter of fact, I'm switching it up. I'm not asking. It's your duty. It's your obligation. That's how I feel. I'm just talking about you do whatever you want. But I would feel, let me change that. It's not your duty. It's not your obligation. I can't tell you what your duty and obligation is. But I would tell you that in my position, I would feel obligated. Part of the reason why I'm speaking on it now. I'll speak on it as it pertains to me and my people. I'm not going to get into a whole conversation of who y'all think is right and wrong and looking at a situation when the whole time I'm living it myself. My people are just living it. We just sitting here like, dang, all these people, they fighting for their country. They standing up. They fighting for their land. And we don't even have a land. We don't even do the research and due diligence to know where we're from. Somebody asked me where I'm from. They'll tell me, oh, well, my mom's side is German, this side is boom, the African, Nigerian, not African. They say Nigerian. They say, they'll say their exact village, Igbo and all this. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm from Jersey. I'm from Montclair. No, but where are you from? Well, South Carolina. That's where my. Oh, you mean? Oh well, in Jersey as well. The mountains. They used to call them the Jackson Whites, but it's the Ramapo Mountain Indians. That's one side. Then I got the Geechee Gully down south. In like South Carolina, that area. But I'm just thinking about all this stuff, and I'm just like, yo, there's no nation, there's no land that we are tied to. There's no place that we can call home. Which is why I got to just say I'm an American, which is why I stand on that. I'm an American. So as an American, I need to ask my fellow Americans, my brothers, my brethren, my sisters, do y'all see me the same way that I see y'all? And as a proud American, how can I be proud of America when it's like, y'all don't even feel comfortable acknowledging certain stuff. It's almost like when you do something to somebody, you ever had a friend to where you did something to somebody, or let's say you have a friend, they did something to you, but they're complaining about another friend doing that same thing to them. But you know that friend did it to you. And you're kind of just sitting here like, bro, you did the same thing to me. Like, how is it an issue now that they doing it to you when you do the same thing to me? Like, if they don't address the fact where it's like, yo, I know in the past I did some mistakes, especially, that were directed to you. I don't feel good about it. Now this person is trying to do the same thing to me. Matter of fact, I can understand even more how you felt and did it. You know what I'm saying? It would have to be a conversation like that. Nah, they just saying like, yo, what they're doing to me is terrible. It's ridiculous. And then they looking at you knowing they did it to you. Like, you're not going to support me? Bro, what? You think I'm going to support you? Like, what? You did it. Make it make sense. Hold on. You got to make it make sense. I made that shot, by the way, with the tissue. All right, so Queez wrote, they got gunpowder from the Chinese and was like, we got them. Facts. As soon as that gunpowder changed everything. Tafari wrote, you trying to get people unfriended. Nah, I'm trying to build stronger bonds, real bonds. Sometimes you got to shake shit up a little bit in order to have a stronger bond. And a lot of times, maybe it is getting unfriended. It's not worth having a fake friend. A lot of times our friendships are fake, how we look at friendship. We give people that title too easily. Friend. Man, that person will step on your mother's neck to get another dollar. That's not your friend. That person will turn on you in a heartbeat if you're not supporting them and their people's struggles, regardless of whether or not they supported your people's struggles. Y'all ain't friends. Y'all just like each other when it's convenient. Y'all are not friends. We're not friends. Like, I had to really look at it. That's why I included certain people. Like, in that post that I put up over the weekend when I was talking about my big bro, Jim Dory, and his family. That's my family. Italians, that's my family. Nobody could tell me that's not my family. Yo, for real, if he told me, yo, we ain't family, I wouldn't believe him. I'd be like, whatever. Like, stop playing. That's my family. And I expect him to and I've had you and I can have any conversation in the world with him. That's family. When you can have any conversation, when you don't ignore certain stuff, when you don't prioritize your own people's perspectives over somebody else's. And we just so much a group of like somebody, yo, I almost wish a candidate would jump on stage and just be like, yo, black people, shut up, stop complaining. Y'all haven't even stood up enough to complain. We only deal with people that actually means, stand on their stuff. Y'all don't even stand on y'all stuff. Shut up. Here's the Obamacare. Relax. Take a little money for your terrible ass apartment. You'll be all right. That's literally how it goes. So nobody cares. Like, we are not, yo. Let me actually pull it up. Hold on, man. Y'all gonna hold on. I gotta pull this up. I was not even planning on showing this video. All right, let me play this. Hold on.
All right, get some water. Hey, wait your turn, boy. You call me what, crack?
Quit it, jerks! Come on, you're all acting like a bunch of sissies! Quit it!
All right, man, listen. I'm Gary. You're Julius. Let's get some particulars and just get this over with, all right?
Particulars.
Yeah.
No matter what I tell you, you ain't gonna never know nothing about
Hey,
me.
man, listen. I ain't running any more of these 3 days, okay?
Well, what I got to say, you really don't want to hear, because honesty ain't too high up on your people priority list, right?
Honesty? You want honesty? All right, honestly, I think you're nothing. Nothing but a pure waste of God-given talent. You don't listen to nobody, man. Not even Doc or Boone. Shiver push on the line every time, man. You blow right past them. Push them, pull them, do something. You can't run over everybody in this league. And every time you do, you leave one of your teammates hanging out to dry. Me in particular.
Why should I give a hoot about you? Huh? Or anybody else out there? You want to talk about a waste, you the captain, right?
Right.
Captain's supposed to be the leader, right?
Right.
You got a job?
I have a
you
job.
You been doing your job?
I've been doing my job.
Then why don't you tell your white buddies to block for Rev better? Because they have not blocked for him worth a plug nickel, and you know it. Nobody plays, yourself included. I'm supposed to wear myself out for the team?
What team?
No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look out for myself, and I'm going to get mine.
See, man, that's the worst attitude I ever heard.
Attitude reflect leadership, Captain.
Whoo! All right, so shout out to Bertier. The white guy's name on the team is Bertier. And then Julius is the black guy, Wood Harris. We need Bertiers. What do you tell him? Yeah, I think you're nothing but a pure waste of talent and God-given ability. That's what we need friends to tell us in a lot of ways. Yo, you're a waste. You're living in this victimhood that doesn't get any results. It just makes you feel good about complaining about your shitty situation. When in all actuality, you could put that same effort and energy to getting out of your situation rather than complaining about it, and then real results would come. That's what we need people to tell us. You're a waste. You're soft. You're a sucker. You let people take advantage of you. You get bullied. It happens to you. It's not my responsibility or obligation or duty to stand up for you if you're going to allow yourself to be bullied. At least stand up for yourself a little bit, and then we'll support you, but I'm not leading your charge if you don't even stand up for yourself. And shout out to the attitude reflects leadership, because that's what the title of last week's show was. But I just had to play that. And yo, it's funny that Queez said, hold on. It's funny that Queez said that this still gives me goosebumps. I swear on everything I love. As I was sitting here, I was thinking that. I'm like, yo, I just got a goosebump. Like, this shit still gives me chills. It still gives me chills. That's a friend. And you know what? What ended up happening in the movie? They became best friends. So a lot of times we get scared to confront people and tell them what it is. But you owe that to them. If you want to consider that a brother, if you want to consider that a friend, you owe it to them. You owe it to them. Now, because what does the other side do? They just pander us. They say, oh, how can we expect black people to succeed? How can we expect black people to flourish? It's not fair. They're not as smart as us. How can we expect that? Hold on, I'll give you an example. Hold on. Oh, hold on. So Tafari wrote, laughing my ass off in my best Deborah Cox voice, we can't be friends. No, I got another one for you. Y'all ready? How did we get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. How did we get here? You feel me? In my Deborah Cox voice, how did we get here? How did we become such suckers? How did we become so aggressive to each other, but then just allow any and everybody else to just walk all over us? How did we get here? Come on, bro. And y'all heard the vocals. Stop playing with me. How did... All right, so I got a video for y'all. Hold on, is that it? No, here it goes. Talking about black people. This is what the panderers and stuff.
Oregon students will no longer need to be proficient in reading, writing, and math to graduate because having standards to graduate disproportionately harms students of color.
Dang. What's up with all these books?
Oregon students will no longer need to be proficient in reading, writing, and math to graduate because having standards to graduate disproportionately harms students of color.
Dang. What's up with all these books?
Oregon.
Yo, this is what happens. Yo, we are some suckers. Look at Queez talking about my vocals, man. Stop playing. That joint's better than SB. You heard? Nah, let me stop. I wish I had SB vocals. As your friend. Yo, man, it's just about being confident with it. You feel me? It's just like all this trash music we listen to. But getting back to that post, why do I put that up? It's because people, we live in a world where there's videos like that. There's people that are trying their best in order to become friends with me. If you feel like to become friends with me, you have to pander to me rather than just being real with me. That's not a friendship I'm looking for. I'll just be totally honest. I like honesty. I want people that are going to call me out on my BS. I want people that are going to force me to become a better person, to have better integrity, greater principles, a better moral compass. All of these things. I don't want people that use every single situation to explain to me why it's okay that I'm not smarter than them, or why it's okay that I don't have the same capabilities as them. And this is, you know what's wild? Because Tafari just wrote, damn, tell me we ain't shit without saying we ain't shit. This is what we fight for. This is what affirmative action is. Okay, we get it. We tried it, from this way. We tried it with the social programs. We tried it with the affirmative action and not making things merit-based. It doesn't work. Competition is the only thing that works. Not victim blaming, but merits. But this is the society that we live in. There's people out here that would rather say any and everybody doesn't have to be proficient in reading, writing, and math because it's culturally biased or it's racist and unfair to black people. Like, it's almost as if we get treated as if we're the kid in the class with a disability. We get treated like we're the kid in the class with a disability. You ever seen like a kid in the class or you see these high school sports videos where there's like a kid that may have Down syndrome on the team or something, be autistic, whatever it may be, where they put them into a game where it may be like a blowout either way. You know, they may be getting blown out. They may be blowing somebody. Let's say they're getting blown out, but they put that player in the game and the game's already over. So the other team, they're kind of taking it easy on the player. Like, they don't really want to, play defense on the kid. So they kind of like are encouraging them to let them shoot a little bit. We already won the game. Like, let the kid, get a shot. Let him. That's how black people are treated. But we ain't win the damn game. We are getting treated like, oh, y'all are fine. Like, by one side, it's like, no, we need somebody to tell us to get our stuff together. Now, in the examples that I use, obviously, I don't know whether there's cures, or I don't believe that there's been a cure on like widely known to cure autism or Down syndrome. But I also don't want to misspeak, because there could be something out there that's just not mainstream, whatever, just because the pharmaceutical industry doesn't put it out doesn't mean anything. But we are literally the people that are saying like, oh, it's almost as if, oh, that's just my little nigger friend. Like, it's like a pet. Yeah, if you hold me to less standards and then want to pet me, bro, I'm not your pet. Are we friends or am I your pet? These are the things that need to be discussed in a lot of these situations and friendships. And I'm turning to maybe this is a desperate scream for help. Maybe I'm fighting and clawing because my back's against the wall or whatever, to the point where I need to now ask people that are not quote unquote black for your help. Please. I would appreciate your help, because we've been manipulated and indoctrinated so much to where we actually believe the victim lifestyle that we embrace. We actually believe that that's something to be deserving of. Like, we embrace it. That's hard for me. I'll never embrace that. It's actually not hard for me. It's very simple and very easy. I'm not embracing that. How can you feel like you come from God, that you have God within you, but you just play victim? You're just a sucker. People just abuse you. That's not godly. That's not godly. To just allow yourself to continuously get violated, disrespected, pimped. That's not godly. So, I don't know. Hold on. We got some. Tafari wrote, there's a cure for them. It's called Stop Having Kids with Old Chicks. What's that cure? Hold on. What you mean, baby? What's the cure for? Hold on, let me make sure I know I know I got to the message a little bit late. Tafari, but women will hate me. Love them though. What did you mean as far as there's a cure for? I don't know. Elaborate for us, big bro. It's I don't know if y'all have these thoughts, but I can't even front. Like it's just been very weird. It's been extremely weird to hear all these debates and passionate debates. Like people are passionate about this. This is our land. No, this is our land. No, this is our land. We are willing to do anything for it. We are willing to fight. We're willing to die. And I'm just sitting here like, our leaders ain't even willing to, we ain't even willing to give up McDonald's. We ain't willing to give up Sexy Red. But these people will die for land? That they're saying that because they have a connection to it that dates back thousands of years ago, these people are willing to fight for something? I'm looking like, yo, that's inspiring in certain ways. I really wish that it wasn't, to the point where, you know, we have to have wars over it. But I mean, is that a part of life? I guess so. But you got to respect people standing on stuff. And I'm not saying that I told y'all, I'm not commenting on how the war is being fought. I'm not commenting on which side I'm on. Do not try to misinterpret my words on purpose. None of that. I'm being very clear. When you believe in something and you're passionate about it and you're willing to stand on it and sacrifice for it, and you being the one to sacrifice and take that risk, then there's going to be a certain level of respect that I have more than other people that will just sit back, talk shit, whatever else, and just sit back and just allow people to just constantly just use and abuse you. And now I'm sitting at, like, as I'm having this conversation with y'all, and even as this conversation came to mind over the weekend, I was just like, damn. And even if you saw my post, the last, I think, sentence was, I hope we can come to a peaceful resolution, because even if I was on that, we ain't built for that right now. We ain't built for listen, just trying to have a peaceful resolution. Hey, if this makes sense over here, then hold on, we need to call this out right here at home. If you want to use my tax dollars, let's break it down this way. If you want to use my money that I pay to support a particular fight for other people, like I said, doesn't matter which side you're on. If you want to use my money, this is my money. I'm an American, a tax-paying American. I pay a lot of money in taxes. If you want to use my money to go support somebody else and their claim to their land, I gotta be a fucking fool and just a sucker to just be sitting here like, yeah, they're gonna use my money to support these other people getting the claim to their land whole time. I'm sitting here, why am I even paying taxes? If that's the case, I'm over here like really thinking about this stuff. Like, hold up, like, yo, they're trying to play me. And I'm trying to figure out in my head, like, yo, how am I going to go about this? Because for me, I'm the type of person that once I understand that something's wrong from a principle standpoint, it's hard for me to ignore it. It's hard for me to ignore it. So I don't know where this is going to go. I'm being honest. A couple weeks ago, my mind was somewhere else. Now it's like, I can't ignore this. How can I be wearing this shirt? Believe that I'm godly. Believe that there's nothing on this earth that I can't accomplish, but be cool with this. And shout out to Ja in the building. Shout out to Ja in the building. Oh, Tafari was talking about. Oh, okay. Yeah, Ant wrote it. Tafari is a wild boy. Queez wrote to Taff saying women that have birth at an older age have a higher risk of having kids with autism. I didn't even know that. I should know that. And Down syndrome. Okay. So Down syndrome, autism, both. Okay. So Tafari was saying we gotta have so really what Tafari meant was just we just need to have kids earlier. That's all. So nothing wrong with that. The Ja, shout out to John in the building. Ja wrote, it's sad they have planted these empty seeds in our head of what black folks can and can't do in hopes that we believe in and stay stagnant on the lowest level. And the saddest part about that, Ja, is that we just allowed it. Like, yes, yes, boss. Like that's really like, is that really our culture? And is that how far does that go? Because is that what makes us justify everything that we do? Whether it's the rappers that are poisoning us, and poisoning our culture with all this negative stuff, but it's for a bag. I'm getting money off of it, so it's cool. I don't know. It's where how many different areas does this bleed into? Because when you have a culture that's based on being suckers, when we talk about how important foundations are, right? But when you have a foundation built on being a sucker, can you ever be righteous? Can you ever be courageous? Can you ever be a true leader? And that's why it goes back to, I really feel like if I'm a quote unquote black woman growing up, or not even, if I'm a black woman in America in the last 500 years, unless it's during a time where we are actively fighting against some level of oppression, in whatever way you decide to fight it, there's different ways. We got to be strategic, right? We got to learn from other cultures. Other cultures ain't always just using war. No, there's financial wars. There's different ways to go about it. So I just don't see how we can look at ourselves. Hold on, quick break, quick sec. I got to check my Robinhood. Oh my God. Carvana, you are destroying me. All right, my bad. I had to check that though. It's sad. Najah wrote it. No one is coming to save us. We are our own responsibility. And if you don't swim, you will drown. That's it. But we not even teaching kids to swim. Like we telling them, like, it's like, yo, there is nothing there. Our culture is trash. What we you know what may be even worse? We a lot of times, and even what I like to do, or what I sometimes do, I shouldn't say I like to do, when I call out but when I call out rappers and stuff like that, yeah, other rappers, you feel me? Now, until I drop something, I ain't a rapper, but when going back to like the whole D1 conversation where he was calling out like Jim Jones, Meek Mill, and Rick Ross, and a lot of these rappers that are putting this type of energy into the music that's affecting the community in a negative way, I have to think, could the music be as destructive as just our overall view, like cowardly view, the stance that we've taken, us being suckers for so long, us just accepting the schooling and the education that they taught us about slavery. They made it seem like there was no black people here, no dark-skinned people, no nothing in America, and that all of us came from Africa. Which affects us worse? I would say that the schooling. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, the schooling affects us worse, and maybe that leads to the destruction in other areas, like it does with entertainment and rap culture. Like, damn. Damn, yo, this is bad. It's really bad. And I hate to, and I'm not saying it's bad in a discouraging way. I'm hoping that us recognizing that something's bad will now light a fire to change something. I don't know. But this ain't cool. And I have a right to voice my opinion on it because why? Because I'm paying for it. This is my country. I'm an American. I'm a proud American. A proud American. So therefore, if I'm a paying American contributing to taxes, then I should have an opinion on based on how my money is used. And there's no way that my money is going to be used to support somebody else's freedom, liberation, claim to their land. When my money doesn't even support my own freedom and liberation and claim to my land. It's wild. We've become suckers. We've become suckers. And the Ja wrote, teach these kids how to swim. That's a fact. That's the only way to do it. We got to teach them how to hunt, teach them how to swim, all of these different things. Because if we don't, it's like, this ain't going in a positive direction. Like Najah wrote, nobody is coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save us. If you believe that God decided to flood the world with the story of Noah's Ark, then shouldn't we understand that, yo, God ain't coming to save us? Matter of fact, he may be pissed off and teach us a lesson. It's bad. All right. I don't even know if we should transition into let me share a couple different videos with y'all, see how the energy is. To be honest, after all that, man, I don't know. It's annoying. It's frustrating. But it is what it is. Let's actually stay on this topic a little bit. Hold on. Let's listen to this. And real quick, Tafari wrote, laugh my ass off. It's cute how people think their opinion counts in politics. Yeah. Certain, depending on what your opinion is or what it's on, then it does. It just doesn't count for your black ass. It counts as long as you support what we on. Oh, but supporting, nah, we ain't addressing that this election. Oh yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll debate it just to get y'all, get y'all support and whatnot. But that's not an obligation of ours. That's not an obligation of ours. Yeah, we understand that black people have been mistreated in this country, or whatever you want. I don't even want to say that black people have been mistreated. We understand that black people have allowed themselves to get bullied, mistreated, hunted, whatever you want to call it. I'm empowering myself. We've allowed it. And if I look at it that way, then that means I can change it. So, yeah, we understand that. We understand that. But y'all ain't gonna do shit about it. And that's just really how they look at us. And maybe this is one of the reasons why.
The meanest.
Hold on.
Take the meanest, most restless nigga. Strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male niggas, female niggas, and nigger infants. Tar and feather him. Tie each leg to a horse facing in opposite direction, set him on fire, and beat both horses until they tear him apart in front of the male, female, and nigger infants. Bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger males within an inch of their life. Do not kill them, but put the fear of God in them, for they can be useful for future breeding. Anybody know who Willie Lynch was? Anybody? Raise your hand. No one? He was a vicious slave owner in the West Indies. The slave masters in the colony of Virginia were having trouble controlling their slaves, so they sent for Mr. Lynch to teach strong, but
My fault. Did it go out?
psychologically
Hold on,
weak
hold
and
on, hold on.
dependent on the slave master. Keep the body, take the mind.
Did it cut out? Did it cut out at some point for y'all? Let me know, because I'll play it again if so. I know it's a little long, but I wish I could fast forward on it. I don't think I could.
Take the meat.
But y'all heard what Denzel was saying. We live in we are the result of being passive, being punks, of being victims. We're the result of being victims for hundreds of years. This is what we see. This is what we see. And let me I don't know if y'all peeped it on the screen, which is why the audio may have cut out. But of course, moms who heard me, shout out to my mom and my pops. They both listen to the show. But my mom's get up early. She getting up early and tuning in every day. And I don't know if y'all can see it, but hold on. Let me try to make it a little. Nope. It's something. Yo, can y'all hold on? I have no idea what just happened. Hold on. Let me try to figure this out. Can y'all hear me? I got no idea what happened. Can y'all hear me? Are y'all back? All right. That was weird. That was weird. All right. Well, oh man, that was weird. Hopefully everybody can get back in. But hopefully y'all can hear me now. Okay, all right. Appreciate that, Doug. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. They ain't feeling what we talking about, I guess. You heard they not feeling what we talking about. But let me show y'all what I was trying to show y'all. That was weird. Hold on, let me show y'all what I was trying to show y'all. Because as I was saying, Mom Dukes listens. So if you could see what I'm showing, that is her Ramapo Lenape Nation card. That's Mom's. So our chief is Walter Silent Wolf Van Dunk. So my grandmother, my nan's last name, Mom, you can correct me on this. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to get off of it, but y'all saw it. All right, so I don't know. Should I bring it back up? Hold on. So pretty much, hold on. Let me bring it back up. My bad. Bear with me a little bit. All right, share screen window. So just to be clear, and I'm bringing this up for a reason. Just to be clear, I'm not just speaking from, my people didn't just come from Africa. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. This is my land. I'm not speaking from however y'all think, however y'all was thinking. I don't know. There you have it right there. And shout out to mom, shout out to both my parents for always supporting whatever it is that I'm rocking with. I'm sure my parents could be spending their morning, their AMs doing something differently, but they're listening to me ramble about stuff that they are forced to hear me ramble about when I'm with them all the time. But they still do it. And this is my claim. So hold on. So based on what I'm just showing y'all, like who's rocking with, are we like, do I have a case? Like, who do I go knock on? Do I go knock on I don't know, ask Biden, like, yo, Biden, we got to talk about this. Like, is a presidential candidate going to talk about this? Because I'm just wondering, it would be a lot different if my tax dollars were not going into supporting other groups and their claim to their previously occupied land. It would be different. But the fact that I'm now paying to support other people receiving the land that they previously occupied, and we're saying that they are entitled to it, and we're going to support their efforts to get it, regardless of what side you're on. How can I look at this? I need my land. Just off of principle. Just off of principle. So when I play the Denzel thing, the Denzel video from Great Debaters, in which he's talking about the Willie Lynch syndrome, I don't think we really understand how much that has impacted us. And some people say that the Willie Lynch stuff wasn't real, wasn't apparently I don't know. Decisions have to be made. Decisions have to be made. And if I'm right, then my mom's probably looking at this show, and maybe my dad, and they're probably looking at it like, oh boy, how far is he willing to go with this? And I think that's the only question that we need to ask ourselves. It's important to understand what you're willing to sacrifice in order to get whatever it is that you're setting out to receive, setting out to take, setting out to claim, setting out to steal, whatever it is. It's important for us to understand what it's going to take. So for me, I'm going to be doing a lot of thinking over this week. And I think for a lot of us, this may be a good time for us to take inventory on who it is that we're surrounding ourselves with, who we call friends, who we thought, that's my bro, that's my sis, that's my family, that's my friend. Are they really? Or do they just pity you? Are you just the nice little nigger boy? Are you just the token nigga? And I want to be very clear, and I have to say all this stuff because you never know when somebody's going to come in and listen. I'm not talking about reparations. I'm not talking about none of that victim stuff. I don't play victim. It is what it is. We lost. We lost a war. We lost a war. And I hate that people try to make it anything else other than that. They try to pacify us by saying, oh, what was done to y'all? You couldn't do anything. This is why Kanye jumped out the window and said slavery was a choice. We took a L. We decided to stop fighting at a certain point. All of us weren't fighting against it. We allowed it. We embraced it. Why? Because we made maybe a decision like, hey, if we fight, we may die. So there's that option to keep fighting against it. And then there's the other option, which is, well, if we just listen to what they're saying and do what they're telling us, then at least we'll be alive maybe a little bit longer. That type of thinking has led to us being suckers right now, being exploited right now, being bullied right now, being manipulated, being indoctrinated, being bamboozled, whatever, so egregiously. Shout out the word of the day, so egregiously that we've just become like, we just accept this. We're just suckers. We're just suckers. And I'm not telling, and you know what? You know what's funny? This is around the time, well, I guess when George Floyd died from the overdose. When George Floyd died, all these people told y'all can go protest. The people leading that march, the people talking all that defund the police, that was political. There wasn't no black people running that. Even Black Lives Matter was working with political, like George Soros and stuff. It wasn't Black Rand. It was, oh, we're telling y'all, we're okaying y'all doing this. So we'll stand up because George Floyd, because a criminal, George Floyd, tried to do a criminal activity, use a fake bill or something like that, and then ingested a whole bunch of drugs, to which the autopsies already came out and said that he didn't die from a knee on his neck. He OD'd off fentanyl. Clearly, if you listen to what he's saying, go back and listen to the video. If you haven't listened to it, then what I'm saying may sound crazy because you haven't listened to the actual video. In the videos, George Floyd's saying, I took too many pills. They found fentanyl pills that he was trying to put in his mouth while he was getting arrested. Before he was on the ground, he was saying that he can't breathe. Before the knee was on his neck, he was saying that he can't breathe. But what did they do? They sensationalized it, and they created an amazing movie, an amazing story off of it to trick black people out of getting emotional and doing dumb shit. Also, Democrats and liberals could continue to try to convince us that the world is so racist and that those people on the other side are still racist. They still don't like y'all. We like y'all. Y'all are our little nigger boys, nigger girls. Y'all are our pets. We got y'all. We got y'all. We can think better for y'all. We know what's best for y'all. That's what the Democrats are doing. Don't worry. We know what's best for y'all. We know that we can't expect us to have merit-based systems of you getting into college. So therefore, let's just make reading, writing, and math, let's make it irrelevant. So that way you can feel more comfortable about being less than. That's the entire approach. Now, the other side, their approach may be what you deem as racist or harsh truth. I don't know, reality. It is what it is. I'm just always going to choose the side that puts more and more accountability on me. And a lot of people said this with Trump. When Trump was president, whether you hated him, loved him, it maybe even was better if you hated him because it put a certain level of fear to where it's like you couldn't just sit back. You didn't think you could just sit back. If you convince yourself that he was the biggest racist, then that put you on guard, had you on your toes, and that produced better results. Or if you just think that his policies were better and that produced better results. Either way, there were more benefits from living behind this comfort and this indoctrination that the Democrats place on us to where they want us to believe in our victimhood so much, but that they care about us. I'm not a victim. I do not pay less taxes than somebody else because I'm black or because I'm indigenous, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a victim. I don't get just like you get a military discount, I don't get a victim discount when it comes to paying my taxes. So therefore, I'm going to have a say in how my tax dollars are spent. Just think about this, bro. Should we boycott paying taxes this year? Hold up. Like, I can't believe that it's like a cycle like this. So Native Americans that live on the reservations, they don't pay taxes, right? They don't pay for college. They don't pay all this stuff. Black people, I'm going to leave it with this. And I'm going to put the pressure on white people and black people and whoever else is I told y'all, I don't look at it as just the black people. When I look at tribalism, I don't determine my tribe based on skin color. I determine my tribe based on my morals, values, and principles and integrity aligning with another individuals and their families. So I got a question. How are we going to make this right? How are we going to make this right? Because I'm showing y'all proof on the screen that this land, bro, that we on, this was my shit. It was my people's land. So I can't be a sucker and now just turn the other cheek and look away and act like I can't unsee what I just saw. I can't unsee what I just saw. So I got to ask ourselves, the first question that we got to ask, or the first two questions, I guess, what did we talk about with I'm not even sure if I did. I'm talking about OG 101. When I made the reference and Queez has heard me say this, like life is like the old MapQuest. We put in the end goal, the address that we want to get to, our end destination, and then we have to understand where we are right now. So where we are right now is understanding, what are you willing to stand on? What are you willing to sacrifice? What, as far as time, effort, and energy, turning people off, creating enemies, what are you willing to risk in order to get a desired result? Tafari, you wanted to build a town, right? Or that's still your goal, to bring it to build, to have a certain amount of land. Like that's still your goal. So damn, so doesn't that hit different when you think about like, this was already your land, now you're trying to fight and scratch back to get it back? And maybe I have to look at it how I always looked at it, because I was looking at before, it was like, it is what it is. We lost the war. We lost. So now I have to live within the society, the winners. To the victor go the spoils. My people lost. So now I got to climb my way back up to the top. I'm always going to embrace that. However, I was cool with embracing that until I realized that my tax dollars are supporting other people in a country thousands of miles from here, or in a land or occupied, whatever you want to call it. My tax dollars are going towards supporting other groups of people and their claim to their land, while I'm sitting here trying to look for my first investment property to buy and try to scramble together a down payment. And thinking about stuff like the interest rate. Matter of fact, give me all my taxes that I'm spending, and I don't care what the interest rate is. We good. Don't worry about it. I still buy it. But how can this? It just doesn't sit right. It just doesn't sit right. So let me Tafari wrote, better learn to unsee it quick. So Tafari wrote, and I can't unsee it. Now I think what Tafari's saying is better learn to unsee it quick. He's saying, like, don't let it distract you from the overall goal. That's what I would be thinking that he's saying. Never going to get tricked out of the overall goal. You can't. That's the ultimate sucker stuff. That's we're kind of getting tricked out now. So Tafari wrote, still going to, my goal will never change. But as the other stuff, can only get it back when you take it back or go find something else. Yeah, but and the taking it back, that's when we got to figure out which strategy, how's the best way to occupy this land, how's the best way to get the land back? We ain't got the guns and ammunition to do it. So let me be very clear. I'm not suggesting it that way. Not suggesting it that way. We ain't there. We ain't there. But we got to do something, right? We got to say something, right? We got to use our voice, use our influence in however we can. Or at least, even if we're not asking, I'm not saying we got to ask other people for stuff, but at least that should be the start, the spark that gets us to figure out, like, yo, maybe we need to unite on some things. Maybe we need to come together on some things. So I started off by saying how I'm going to leave y'all, but just with a question. Who are you and who are we? Who are you and who are we? I don't care who it is that's hearing that. I don't care whether you're white, black, Indian, Haitian, Jamaican, whatever, Nigerian, from Thailand, Chinese, Japanese, Russian, German, Ukrainian, Jewish, Muslim. I don't care. Who are you and who are we? Because when we ask ourselves that question, maybe that's a good test for us to understand who's really with us and who's not. Who's with us out of convenience and who's really with us. Because I can't ignore the stuff that's going on and how we're just being treated like some suckers that should be okay with getting slapped in the face. Matter of fact, we're going to slap you in the face, then use your money to go support somebody else. This is wild. So who are you and who are we? Because if we are these certain things that we think of and that we say that if we are who we say we are in a lot of different areas, that's going to challenge us to actually be those things. That's going to challenge us to actually live up to those standards that we set for ourselves. So for the next 30 seconds, as we wind down, for the next 30 seconds, I just want you to think about who are you and who are we? And once we figure out the answer to that question, then we can figure out what we're willing to sacrifice in order to get what it is we're setting our minds on getting or taking, however that you're looking at it. So, an ant wrote Himothy Lord. That's a fact. I'm that man, not Batman, that man. I got a that mobile. I got a that chick. No, that's what Dame Dash was talking about. For 30 seconds, who are you, who are we, and how are we going to apply this pressure? Let's go. 30 seconds, go. And with that, we have come to an end. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Y'all know what we do. We elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint as well as doing what we are here to do, making that impact in the communities that are needed and necessary. All right. Living in our purpose. That's what we're about. And then y'all know we're going to get to that big bag with integrity, of course. So with that, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. To be totally honest, I wasn't even planning on going this route with this show. But yeah, I know that was a little bit of a dark and a little bit of ominous. And Doug, we'll get to that video on Wednesday. We'll definitely get to that video on Wednesday. Matter of fact, if I have it up here, we can end on it. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. This will be something good to end on, actually. So we can end on this rather than end on, the dark and ominous. See, darkies, right? That's what y'all thinking. That's messed up. But yeah, let's finish up with some kindness. All right, so let's take a listen to this.
Out of the reconstruction home in Ithaca, New York, I was wearing a little set of leg braces and walking with crutches. Once I started attending grade school, I was made to feel different. We had a field trip slated for first grade, and it was walking, maybe 5-6 blocks. I was deathly afraid of holding the class up. Our teacher had told us 2 weeks before this was going to happen, so for 13 straight days I've got anxiety and I'm getting nervous about this thing coming up. Day of the trip, one of my little first grade classmates, and I never forgot his name, Ernie Pound, pulled his little red flyer wagon up and he said, "Dave, jump in, I want to pull you." That changed that whole day for me, made it a fun trip, enjoyable, instead of the anxiety. It all washed away when Ernie brought his wagon up. 50 years later, I had a reunion with this guy. We were doing a book signing. Unknown to me, they had found him. And who's this to? Ernie Pound. You found him, I can't believe it. Thank you very much.
Man. Good damn, great
Still
damn.
gets me. Because 50 years later, that guy didn't know what he did for me. But he does now.
I'm glad we played that. I'm glad we played that. Thank you for that, Doug. Thank you for that, Doug. Man.
When I came out of the reconstruction home in Ithaca,
Listen, I hope everybody has an amazing day. Be kind, like Ace said last show. Yeah, let's just figure out a way to get this stuff together. Find out who your round is, find out who your family is, and build towards something. And be unapologetic about it. So that's where I'll leave it. I'll see y'all soon. Ew.